regards. Happy to talk on a video. So very famous after a long time. Law is one of my favorite subjects. Back when I started my course, I always used to think, why law? I'm going to be a chartered accountant. I'm going to deal with accounts, costing. Then what will I do with law? Lawyers has to deal with law, right? And then I started realizing how law works in our system. You see, without law, a business cannot properly function. The business will become chaotic. When the businesses are chaotic, what will be the function of a chartered accountant, right? So law plays a very, very important and essential part in our business environment. So coming to our syllabus, in chartered accountancy syllabus, in the CPT course or the foundation course, law has very simple topics of 5 different acts. Then moving forward, the Companies Act will keep continuing in your intermediate as well as in your final courses. So when I was in the foundation course, we used to call it CPT, Shankaraman sir used to teach me law. It was more fun than going for a class for a theory subject. So we started with the Contract Act. He introduced by saying that contracts can be oral as well as written contracts. So I was like, sir, how can oral agreements be contract? He said, yes, oral agreements are legally binding and they can also form as contract. So I asked him, sir, what if you and me agree to go just kill a person? He said, no. It is an illegal agreement. An illegal agreement cannot be a contract. It is not just void, it is void ab initio, that is void from the beginning. So that is how we used to study law. So that is how I learned that law is not just a theory, it is a very practical subject. So moving from the foundation to intermediate, we had Companies Act. Predominantly you will have Companies Act. There were many interesting provisions, and among that, one section stands in my mind always. It was section 77 in Companies Act 1956 and 68 in Companies Act 2013. So it deals with buyback of shares. Right away the section states that buyback of shares are prohibited. But if you see a subsection, it says buyback of shares are allowed. I'm like, why there are contradicting sections? And then I asked Shankaraman sir, why is there a contradicting section? So sir explained that there is a big case law behind this new introduction of a subsection. So what happened? There was a young entrepreneur who started a company. He made public listing, he got a lot of money from the public, and he was successfully running the company. So there were companies that was running a similar business who became envious of his growth, and they started plotting behind his back. They thought they will acquire his company, and in overnight they acquired all the shares from the market and they threw away the management. So the entrepreneur lost his company. The government was watching this. The people who are behind the law framework were watching this, and they thought this should not happen. Young entrepreneurs should be encouraged and should not be demotivated as such. So they said, okay, let's not prohibit buyback. Let's allow buyback, but with some restrictions. The company cannot just waste shareholders' money by keep buying back the shares. So they said, okay, allow 10%. If it's going to be the board of directors who's going to decide, or allow 25% of the paid up capital if you get approval from your shareholders. So this is how they started allowing buyback. So I read this almost like 8 years back. Now I still remember the provision, and also I remember the reason behind the provision. This is how I studied law. This is how Shankaraman sir taught me law. So this has helped me a lot, and I'm a tax practitioner, and again it's a law. So when I approach law as such, as a practical subject, I love law. And this is how we plan to take you through law and the course. Thank you.